Up, everybody? Welcome to season 2.5, episode 4, I think.
Yep.
Episode 4 of the weekly Gridiron podcast. Luke, is this the final episode of season 2.5? Because season 3 is going to be starting up real soon.
I think it should be. Yeah, we'll
That's
see.
it's whether we even call this season 2.5 or season 3. If you had asked me, season 3 could have started last week, it could start this week, it could start next week. I guess you'll find out when you're watching this.
Yeah.
You'll find out. Anyways, we are your hosts, your guys, Adam.
Dante.
And Luke.
Luke and I are in a new setting. I guess so is Dante. We're moving
Yeah,
back
new
to
apartment.
apartments.
But we're not in the old one bedroom. I have roommates now. So
Let's go.
yeah.
We
Luke
are in the one bedroom, and I have one roommate.
I
Yeah.
also
At the
have
bottom of your screen.
There you go.
We are at state college now, so very happy.
Right.
So, all right.
It too, you know?
Shall we jump right in? This is the same thing y'all watched last time, except this is the NFC version. So,
Yes, sir.
I know we got some Saints fans that watch, some other Panthers fans maybe. So
Yeah.
y'all wait for this. So let's just jump right into it. I guess we'll start with the NFC South, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys want me to go first because it's the Panthers division?
Yeah, you're the fan, dude.
All right. Okay. I'll jump right in. I'm gonna waste no time. And last, unfortunately, I have my Carolina Panthers. I mean, I gotta be realistic about this team last year. We went 2-15. I gotta be realistic this year. We went 2-15 last year. Had a rough season. Bryce Young had a rough rookie year. Of course, we had the Frank Reich leadership for a while, which, oh my gosh, that went horribly. But we got Dave Canales now. We got Deontay Johnson. Thank you, Dante. Hope y'all are treating Dante Jackson well.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope he plays well.
We got some nice rookies coming in, improved defense, improved O-line. So I'm hoping for a better season. Really, I'm not caring about as much as wins this year. If we get to 4 or 5, cool. I'm just looking for improvement. I'd like Bryce Young to have a better second season. I'd like everyone to play well behind him. So, I mean, I'm going to put us in last for sure, but I think we could be a little bit better than we were last year. I mean, 2 wins was horrendous. I'm looking for maybe more like 4 or 5 this year, but this isn't a wins or loss prediction. This is just an order prediction. So I'm going to say Panthers for last. Third, I've got the Saints. I'm really not too high on them this year. I mean, Derek Carr is Derek Carr. I think there's a chance Dennis Allen gets fired pretty early on, maybe in the first half. And maybe you're looking at Spencer Rattler in the second half of the season. That could be crazy. But, I mean, we'll see. But anyway, Saints third. Second, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've won this division for the last 2 years, 3 years, 3 years. Last 3 years they've won the division. But I think that run comes to an end this year because in first, as much as I don't like them, I've got the Atlanta Falcons. They're looking really good. And they've got a new coach. They've got a quarterback who actually knows how to get their weapons to the football. So I mean, the winner of this division is probably going to be a first round exit in the wild card, but I think it'll be Atlanta hosting that playoff game this year. As much as I don't like to admit it, I just think that's what's going to happen. So
True. All right, I'll go next if you're cool with that, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll keep it easy because me and Adam have the same order. Falcons 1, Bucks 2, Saints 3, Panthers 4. Yeah, Panthers 4. I mean, Adam obviously covered most of it since he is the Panther fan. But yeah, all you're looking for is really, good signs from Bryce Young and Xavier Legette and the other rookies on the team, other young guys. You're looking for, competent, good coaching. Obviously, Adam, I'm sure you could vouch. The Panthers aren't expecting a Super Bowl this season. But you're just looking for good signs from your team for the future.
absolutely.
But Saints at 3. I mean, I guess I don't really know. I don't have much to say about the Saints. They're kind of a boring team. I think Chris Olave will have another good season. I think Kamara will also be himself. Yeah, just a pretty boring team. They're solid defensively, but not enough to finish above third place. Bucks at 2. Baker Mayfield, I expect him to have another good year, especially after getting his extension. Mike Evans, he's going to have his perennial 1,000-yard season. Yeah, that team's going to be solid, but I think the Falcons just upgraded on all cylinders, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to lead them to a playoff berth and a division championship, I mean. And yeah, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, and Zach Robinson, who I really wanted the Steelers to go after, but we ultimately got the old Falcons head coach Arthur Smith. But yeah, Zach Robinson, he should be he's a very modern offensive coordinator, came from the Rams, and I think he's gonna really turn things around in Atlanta. I expect Bijan and Kyle Pitts to also have pretty solid years. So yeah, that's my order.
Yeah, so I would love to be the guy who disagrees here. If I had to mix it up, the only way I could possibly see things shaping out differently would be something like Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints, but unfortunately there's too much has to happen for any of those changes to happen. Too much has to happen. Yeah. So I'm gonna agree. I have to agree here. I think the Bucks, the chance, excuse me, I can't talk today.
You're good.
The change of those that I mentioned that has the best chance of happening is the Bucks continuing their stay at the top of the division.
Totally.
Because I don't think they got worse. It's going to be up to Baker Mayfield. We've kind of been fooled into things like this before. Daniel Jones had that one year where they made the playoffs, won a playoff game, and then he got paid, and now he's the worst starting quarterback in the league again. I don't think that's going to happen to Baker Mayfield, but I don't think it's unreasonable to expect some sort of possible drop off in production. I agree about Mike Evans, the perennial 1K yard. I mean, every single year of his career, but he's getting up there in age. Health is a factor where some of those guys can Rashad White carry your whole rushing attack. I don't know much about their defense. So because it was so tight between them and the Falcons at the end of last year, I have to give the edge to the Falcons, who, as you both said, improved tremendously.
Yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement there. That
Really?
works. Luke, I don't know if you could tell, but you're in the other room, obviously. I hear my computer is like a word behind from everything you hear. So I hear you say something, then it comes on here. So if you see me smiling or laughing a little bit, I just think it's funny. But I
Well, I can hear you, so all is well.
You can hear me too?
No, I can't.
Oh, perfect. All right.
How does that work? That's funny.
All right,
Yeah.
I gotta fix it in my notebook, but I wrote the NFC. I'll show you guys. I wrote the South for the North. So
It's all good.
I'll fix that. But if we want to go to the North next, we can go to the North next.
Yeah.
One of you guys can start.
I'll go.
Yeah, go for it, Dante.
In fourth place, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold led football team. Not very, Vikings fans are in shambles right now. I'll say that. Not that JJ McCarthy was going to be, rookie of the year candidate. I mean, actually, who knows? Maybe the guy, he was okay at Michigan, relied heavily on his run game, but that's neither here nor there. The guy's not playing. It's Sam Darnold. And I think Justin Jefferson, he's going to have his lowest production of his career so far. I think Aaron Jones could be a good back for them, but looking at the other three teams, I really don't see the Vikings making it out of the basement. At 3, I have the Chicago Bears. Now, I could easily see the Bears either being, a 6-11 football team or a 12-5 football team. It really all lies on Caleb Williams. No, excuse me. The pieces are all there. His wide receiver core is unreal. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and then not to mention DeAndre Swift and Cole Kmet. That offense is very solid. And so is that defense. You got Jalen Johnson. You have Tremaine Edmonds. You got Kevin Byard. All three solid defensive pieces for them. But I think the other two teams ahead of them are, marginally better and have proven to be marginally better. At 2, I have the reigning NFC North champs, the Detroit Lions. Sorry, Nap.
Oh, too. Okay.
Yeah, I do. And that's not
I
because,
thought someone was going to do that. Not to interrupt you, but I had a feeling someone was going to put him second.
yeah, and this is not because the Lions got worse by any means. I still expect them to be, you know, a very good football team. I expect Jared Goff to be great. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to make a jump, and I think Sam Laporta is going to be, even better than he was last year, and he's going to solidify himself as a top three, if not, maybe probably top three tight end in the league. I think, if he's not so already. But at number one, I just really believe in Bryce Young, not Bryce Young, Jordan Love. I do believe in Bryce Young.
I'm
Uh,
glad. I'm glad. Thank you.
I really believe in Jordan Love and the Packers, especially after going on the road and beating the Cowboys in the what was that the wild card round last year? Either way,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
blew the Cowboys out. I know we make jokes about the Cowboys not being good in the playoffs, but still, no matter who you're playing, if you're blowing a team like that out on the road um, during the playoffs, that can't go unnoticed. And Jordan Love, top what was he, top two or three in passing touchdowns last year in his second year as a starter, or first full year as a
First,
starter.
first full year as a starter.
First full year as a starter. Yeah, I think the Packers are going to do great things. I am fearful of their receiving core. I think it's a Christian Watson's good. Romeo Dobbs has been good for them. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to put them above the Lions, since the Lions are so, you know, uh, they have a lot of star power on offense. Sorry, I'm taking so long to explain this.
Okay. It's all
Uh,
good.
but yeah, I think the Packers they're gonna surprise some people this year, and I think they're gonna win this division. Sorry, Nat, once again. That's my take.
Luke, you want to go or me?
It's up to you, man.
I guess I'll take it if you don't mind. All right. I'm gonna disagree with Dante, but not on much. I think I kind of revealed it with my reaction to one of his things. But fourth, I do agree with the Vikings. Wasn't a big JJ McCarthy fan in college, obviously. Don't like Michigan, but I do feel bad for the guy that he is injured. He did look good in his one preseason game. But I don't know. Vikings to me, they have a good team. They just need the quarterback. I'm not sure if Sam Darnold's that guy, but this is really Sam Darnold's last shot to prove that he could be a number one. And I'm rooting for him. I mean, he's a former Panther, so why not? Third place, I've got the Bears. They've got a great offense, like Dante said, but I mean, Caleb Williams is a rookie. Who knows how far he's going to be able to lead that team? I could see them, like Dante said, I could see them being a 6-win team and being toward the basement of the NFC, or being like a 9 to 12 win team, making the playoffs or being in contention.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're the best in this division, so I'm also going to give them third. Second, I am going to give to the Packers. I loved what I saw from them last year, but I still think they aren't the best team in this division, especially because they really proved me wrong last year. I was so low on Green Bay last year, but this year I'm high on them, but I'm not going to put them in the league quite yet because I am going with the Lions for the second year in a row to win this division. If y'all remember last year, I was the only one to say Detroit was going to win this division, and who was right? So why not rock with them for a second straight year? Josh Knapp, bring me this victory, man. Go Lions for this division. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start by putting it out there. I have to agree with Adam's order. This is one of the most exciting top-heavy divisions in football, in my opinion, just because of the variables. So much can happen. But I think we're all in agreement about the Vikings. They didn't do enough. Sam Darnold is not going to be able to lead them to more than few meaningful wins. It's not going to happen for them as much as I like some of the players on that team. The Bears at 3 is where it gets interesting. Yes, they've improved a heck of a lot. Yes, Caleb Williams is going to be the most exciting story in football, at least at the beginning of the year next year. But I look at that roster and I look at some of the things that have been left over from the Justin Fields era. I'm going to make somewhat of an analogy here. To me, it really feels like they've been trying to, this offseason, kind of heal and cover up a really deep wound with like a flashy Louis Vuitton Band-Aid. I'm not super moved. Keenan Allen, he's up there in age. There's a reason the Chargers didn't fight to bring him back. Rome Odunze splitting the targets with two other guys that have already been established in this league for a long time. Are we sure DJ Moore is going to be that guy for that much longer? I'm not really sold on DeAndre Swift. Kevin Byard, the Eagles didn't get much out of him. Same coaching staff. Caleb Williams, we're just kind of to see how much of a show he is. I think he has, I know he has immense talent, but he is as much talent as he has, he matches it in personality, which certainly can be a good thing. And I think that I believe in him, but we've seen it where it isn't. So there's just too many, there's too many question marks there for me to put them any higher. Although I thought about it, I couldn't agree with what you guys said more. They have a pretty wide gap between their ceiling and their floor. I believe the same is kind of true for the Packers. I'm a little bit worried about them because they did not get a hot start last year. They came out of the gate slow. I believe they had a losing record at one point, and then they caught fire. But if you're going to rely on that catching fire, some years it's going to happen, some years it's not going to. And I know that kind of came with the adjustment of I was about to say Caleb Williams, Jordan Love finally like adjusting to the speed of NFL games. And so I think he'll be fine. I think they'll be good again, but I don't think they'll be quite good enough to stop the Lions, who at this point are just such a well-oiled machine that they're only going to slow down if they get in their own way, which ironically, Dan Campbell does more than almost any other coach in the NFL right now. But they're exciting, and barring injuries, which have plagued them just a bit the past couple of years. Don't forget, I think Jahmyr Gibbs missed 3 or 4 games last year. They're finally waiting on that Jameson Williams breakout year. There are some moving parts there, but not as much as the other teams. So I have to agree with a boring list. That would be Lions, Packers, Bears, and Vikings.
Totally.
I don't think it's boring, Luke, because I agree with it.
I know you agree with it. That's what kind of makes it boring, because everybody agrees with it. But I say it because I think you and I are right on.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on. We can do the NFC East. Luke, I think you are the only one who hasn't started for a division yet. So why don't you kick us off?
And you're giving me almost the easiest one. I guess not the easiest, but let's start pretty easy. Are we all in agreement here that the Giants are going to be not just in the basement, they're going to be 6 feet underground by the time they played 17 games?
Yes.
There are 6 teams, there are 4 teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's the Giants. Gotta quote
Ain't that movie.
Gotta quote Moneyball.
Gonna be ugly. Then there's the other 3 teams. I'm not moved by anything quite enough to not slide the Commanders in at 3. I like Jaden Daniels. I prefer Drake May, which is why I'm slightly happy. But doesn't mean he won't be successful. They've surrounded him with some weapons. They've done a decent job. They just traded Jahan Dotson for, I'm not really sure what reason, but nonetheless, they have a decent defense in the sense that in Washington, they always seem to play defense the right way. They play it tough. It's hard. It can be difficult to play in Washington sometimes. But enough about them. You look at the other 2 teams in this division, Philly and the Cowboys, who just paid, what's his name? CD Lamb hours before this recording, by the way. It's tough. I go back and forth. This second I'm thinking about it. But I am going to put the Cowboys first again. Just because I fear a bit of a personality clash and a lack of leadership in Philly. I know they got Saquon Barkley. We all love Saquon Barkley as much as anybody. I know they're extremely talented still, and they play defense the right way like the Commanders did, I just said. But there's already reports of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts kind of butting heads a little bit. And we're all football fans. We've been fans of the sport long enough to know that 50% of the reports like that are BS, but another 50% aren't. And I always say that when there's smoke, there's usually fire. So there has to be some truth to that. And AJ Brown has had some, how do I say this, frustrations openly the past year. Devonta Smith he's good, but I think now going into his third, or this is even his fourth year in the league, you'd want him to be challenging AJ Brown for that top spot a little bit more efficiently. I don't know. It's going to depend on off the field things, I think, for them. And as much as that can be a mess for the Cowboys, they just have this tendency to obliterate lesser competition. I think they're going to roll to a good enough record to lock up the division by week 16 or 17.
Okay.
Sorry, it took a while there, but you guys, the floor is yours.
Totally.
So you said Dallas in first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dante, you want to go next or me?
I'll go.
All right.
All right. Yeah. In fourth, you saw by my gesture, it's the New York Giants. I don't have to explain this one too much. But their main receiver is Jalen Hyatt. I'll leave it at that. Not really much.
Malik Neighbors, but for now.
Oh, what am I saying? Malik Neighbors. So sorry to any of the Giants fans out there. But you
Well,
so forgettable. I forgot your first round pick. I would just say it like that. Anyway, I'll stop dissing the Giants. In third place, I have the Commanders. I think Jane Daniels could be good. I think the Commanders could have been even better if they would have kept Jahan Dotson. He was one of your better playmakers.
it's head scratching.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like this Commanders team is right out of 2012 with the players they've signed this offseason, including Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. I know this isn't 2012, but Austin Eckler. Yeah, it seems like
I totally forgot about that.
yeah,
That did not move me at all.
yeah. It seems like the Commanders are it's I don't know. It's like the NFC East to me is like the Cowboys and Eagles are like the big brothers, and they hand the unplugged controller to the Commanders and Giants. That's really what it seems like. And yeah, Commanders in third place. I don't have to go on much about that, but I am excited to see Jane Daniels. Like Luke, I do have the Eagles in second. Yeah, I think they'll be a very good football team. I expect Saquon to have the best year of his career, behind an actual competent O line. But honestly, Luke, you made a great point. I couldn't agree with it more. Devontae Smith really hasn't. He's been the best you could be as a wide receiver too, like the top of the line. But if you put him as a wide receiver one to your team, I would kind of question it a little bit. I'm sure
I think he's struggling.
Yeah,
I think he's struggling though. He just has not emerged or challenged anything outside of his role as well as he does his role.
totally. And maybe that's the system he's in. Who knows? Maybe if he was in another system, he'd be a 1,200-yard receiver. But he still is pretty good. That Eagle defense is solid. But however, like Luke, I believe this will be the first time in 20 years there's a repeat champion in the NFC East. And I think the Cowboys, excuse what they do in the playoffs. Like I said before, they are one of the best regular season teams year in and year out.
Sorry, I
But
was pulling on my computer because I saw a little piece of something on there.
they're all good. I did it back. But no, the Cowboys are going to be outstanding like they always are. And yeah, they're going to win the East. And I expect the Eagles to slightly decline. So that's even more so why I'm picking the Cowboys in this scenario. So, Adam.
Yeah, just real quick though, you mentioned the O line. That's a good point. They do definitely still have one of the best offensive lines, at least in the NFC. But I'll just mention, replacing Jason Kelsey. I don't know off the top of my head how they did it, but that goes back to the leadership thing I said. It's now a little bit more of a question mark than it was, but we've all seen what Saquon Barkley can do behind a revolving door. So
True. Yeah.
all right. Fortune sound.
I think I agree with fourth place. Giants are just going to be bad. Nothing to be excited about there. Third place, Commanders. Dante, you kind of started what I was going to say with the whole veterans thing. So I'll leave out some that you forgot that I looked on their depth chart.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota, Martavius Bryant.
Martavis Bryant, shout out.
I think those
So
are
glad he's on the list.
ones. But like it's
Penn
all
State left in Trace
honestly,
McSorley.
yeah.
I was just gonna say yesterday against my Patriots, we had a Trace McSorley to Martavis Bryant fourth quarter touchdown.
That's mad
Bizarre,
shit. That's
I
mad.
was gonna say,
but
it's
I do
fun.
love it.
Yeah, it's fun watching all these veterans on the Commanders. Just like, it makes you excited about the team. Like, it's like, oh, it's Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz. Like 2018 or 19, this team would have been like insane.
Yeah, I don't know why I said 2012. That was
That's
Well,
like,
okay.
so
but
you know what I almost likened it to? You know the Big Three League in basketball?
yeah.
It's like, whoa, Michael Beasley dropped 30 against Lance Stevenson and Joe Johnson. Whoa, must see TV.
Big
Senior
baby
league.
Davis
Not
is not
really.
here in the post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, not really that exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on for the rest of my order. Someone's got to disagree with you guys on this. I've got someone taking a step back, but I think it's the Cowboys. This offseason's just been too much of a mess in Dallas. Of course, the day of this recording, they just paid CD Lamb. I think it's 36 million a year. 34, 35, maybe 36. I don't know. Good for him for getting his bag, but they still got to figure out the leader of that offense, Dak Prescott. He may be getting 60 million a year very soon. They haven't figured that out. CD Lamb, I'm sure, is happy he got paid, but still upset that it took this long. They're gonna have to pay Micah Parsons soon. They've got the whatever's left of Ezekiel Elliott at running back. I mean, I don't know. The Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. They're going to be good. They're going to make a playoff spot, but I can't put them anywhere beyond that. And I know the Eagles have question marks, but I like what they've done. They brought in Saquon. They brought in Jahan Dotson to be their wide receiver 3. Like that offense is crazy. They've
Yeah.
still got a very good defense. I get the coaching is honestly a question mark for both teams, but it's going to be like always. The Eagles and Cowboys are going to split. Eagles will win in Philadelphia. Cowboys will win in Dallas. Maybe the other way around, but this year, I think it'll be the Eagles having a slightly better season outside of the divisional play. Because, I mean, the Cowboys and Giants, the Eagles and Cowboys are each going to sweep those teams. So they're both going to go, 5-1 in the division. But then outside of that, I think the Eagles are going to have a better season. That's just my opinion. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they both could be early playoff exits for sure. Anyways, we got one more division to cover, NFC West. You guys care if I start?
No, do your thing.
All right. This one was kind of tough for the bottom two teams because I feel like it's really close this year. I am still going to go Arizona for fourth, but they have done a good job building. I like Kyler. I think he's going to have a bounce back season. I mean, he didn't play much last year, I don't think, but I think he's going to have a solid year. They're building a nice defense there. Of course, they've got Marvin Harrison Jr., best receiver in the draft from last year, who I think is going to be an instant playmaker. But my thing is, if Marvin Harrison Jr. goes down with an injury, who else do you really have to throw the ball to there? It's like Zay Jones is the only guy I can remember who's even there. So
Is Rondale Moore still there? I don't think so.
no, I think he left. I think he got, what it was? He got traded for Desmond Ritter. So
That's right. He
yeah,
is in Atlanta. You're right.
the offense is still a little, they've got Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. I like that group. They've got James Conner there too, but it's still a little, incomplete. So work on that next offseason. I think they could be like a 6-win team. They could turn some heads this year, maybe get toward the next tier of NFC teams to where next year they make some more moves and we're thinking like, okay, maybe Arizona could sneak in or something, but not this year. Third place, I'm going to go Seattle. I'm not as faithful in the quarterback situation there. Geno Smith getting up there in age. Last year, he didn't have as good of a season as he did in 2022. He's still making a lot of money. I heard he wants more money now. I don't know why. They still got a good offense there. They got Kenneth Walker, running back, who I really like. Then they have DK Metcalf. They have Lockett. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Who's their tight end? Why can't I remember the tight end? Yeah,
No.
no, that's it. And they've got a solid defense too. So I think Seattle, and they got a new head coach as well. They're not better than the Rams or the Niners, but I think they could be up there. They could be in the mix for wild card spot. But moving on, the top two is going to be the order it was last year. Second place, I've got the Rams. They've got a great offense, solid defense. They're ready to roll and do their thing again. And in first place, I know they may be getting slightly worse. They may be losing Brandon Ayuk. They lost some defensive pieces, but they still got McCaffrey. They've got Ricky Pearsall there whenever he's ready to play. If Brock Purdy can look like Brock Purdy the last 2 years, even if he's not a top quarterback in the league, just do what he's done. I think the Niners will take that division again. The playoffs, when they come, they'll speak for themselves. But when it comes to the division, I think the Niners will take it. And then I'll go Rams. I was going to say Cardinals, but Seahawks, Cardinals.
Cool. Luke, you could go. I haven't gone last yet, so you could go.
Sure. Yeah. Let's keep it easy at the top. 49ers 1, Rams 2. I don't even think I need to say anything about either of those teams. This is where it gets a little bit interesting for me. I have the Cardinals 3. So as it turns out, we all made fun of their head coach hire, but it's starting to work out. You see it with their defense, and you see it with the way they play, the way they were hanging in there in some tough games last year, the way they beat the Steelers. Sorry, I do apologize, but
worst night of my life. I mean, that was so
teams like that, they were fighting more than they probably should have. So I think they're doing something right. And I'm a Kyler Murray guy. I want to see him with Marvin Harrison Jr. I think it'll be fun. I could be wrong about this one, but I'm willing to go out on a line for it. So I have the Seahawks 4. And Adam, you were saying, I wonder why in the world Geno Smith is already asking for more money. Because I think he knows what some of us already know. It's about at the end of the line. And he's trying to milk it for every cent he can make, and they're trying to milk him for every touchdown he can throw. And I think the gallon's running about a bit dry.
I think you're quoting Moneyball there, and I think I could tell.
Kind of. I am kind of using the milking you for every ounce of baseball you can play.
You're using the David Justice analogy. I got you.
Yeah, but it's a common phrase, man.
Yeah, true.
Love and it's right. Am I wrong? I do think they're running out of time with him.
No, thanks. Right. I don't even know how he's still the quarterback.
I think they know it. I think that's why they jumped on Sam Howell. Well, I'm not sure they really. I'm not sure they really believe in. I guess the Commanders didn't, but I always thought he was good enough for the Commanders to keep around until he just kind of imploded the last 3 or 4 weeks of the year last year. But he definitely has some talent. With DK Metcalf, I can definitely see him playing decently enough to where, he can manage what may end up being a bad start to the year. And that's just it. They haven't done anything in a while that really moves me. I mean, I'm excited to see year 2 for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Watch yourself.
I did that as carefully as I could.
I'm just kidding.
You can always just say JSN.
JSN.
There you go. I don't feel like I heard a lot from him last year. So we'll just have to see. I don't know. I believe in the Cardinals, and I believe that the Seahawks are a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Also, let's not forget, I don't even know who they hired, but this is now the post Pete Carroll era. So there will be some changes. We'll just have to see if they're good or bad.
Cool. All right, so
yeah, go for it.
All right, yeah. So in first place and in second place, I have the 49ers at 1 and the Rams at 2. However, I do think the Rams will be nipping at the heels of the Niners more than they have in these past 2 or 3 seasons, especially after Brandon Ayuk goes to the Steelers. I mean, that's going to be just a huge loss for the Niners now. But all jokes aside, if they do end up losing Brandon Ayuk, I think that removes a big safety valve from Brock Purdy. I feel like he was the go-to guy whenever, he didn't have anything downfield. And yeah, I think his presence will be missed if he gets traded or released or goes elsewhere. Rams at 2, I think.
Sorry, released.
Yeah, they're just gonna cut him. Hot take. No, but Rams at 2. I think Sean McVay is still going to be one of the best head coaches in the NFL. Stafford is still gonna keep up his longevity. Kyron Williams gonna have a great year. Puka, we'll see, but I still think he'll be solid. In Cup, he'll be not as good as he was, but still pretty solid. And then their defense, they got Jared Verse from Florida State in the first round. I expect him to be very good. But yeah, in third place, Luke, the one topic that you brought up about post Pete Carroll is actually the reason I have the Seahawks in third place. Mike McDonald, I witnessed how good of a defensive coordinator he was last year in Baltimore. He shut at least the Steelers offense down. However, that doesn't say much because we were very bad.
And
But
did you sweep Baltimore last year?
we did, yeah.
And you did anyways.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But I think we dropped like 27 points total in both games. But anyway.
win is a win.
Yeah, but no, that Raven defense last year was absolutely extraordinary. Shout out Patrick Queen. But yeah, I think Mike McDonald, if he is as good as a head coach as he was a defensive coordinator, nothing's stopping the Seahawks from being a third place team. And in fourth place, I have the Cardinals. I just don't believe in Jonathan Gannon as a head coach that much. However, I do think Kyler and Marvin Harrison will have very, very good years. But yet, their defense isn't anything to write home about. The rest of their offense outside of Kyler, Marvin Harrison, and I guess Paris Johnson on that O line, it's really nothing to write home about. That's why I have the Cardinals in fourth place. I could easily see them being a third place team, step above. I know that doesn't sound incredible, but where the Cardinals have been for these past few
It's a
seasons,
big step, yeah.
it's a big step. So yeah, that's my order for the NFC West.
So you have the Cardinals in fourth?
Cardinals 4, Seahawks 3, Rams 2, Niners.
Okay. So all that's left to do, I guess, is predict 3 wild cards. So I guess the way we did it last time was out of your 4 division winners, I guess pick an order 1 through 4 and then 3 wild cards besides that. So who wants to go first?
Doesn't matter.
You can start, Adam.
Okay. So first I have the Eagles. I think they're gonna have a good season. Second, I have the Niners. I wanted to put San Fran above Philly, but just the whole Ayuk thing, and I still feel like there are a few question marks, even though they could be really good. So I'll go San Fran 2. 3, I'll go Detroit, and then 4, Atlanta. And then this is kind of boring because the wild cards are all going to be teams who made the playoffs last year, but I think the NFC is still good enough that these teams could definitely be back. I'll go Dallas. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. I'll go Green Bay 5. I really think Green Bay is going to have a good season. I'll go Dallas 6. I had Dallas 5th, but I just thought of it and I was going to change it. And I'll go the Rams number 7.
Cool. Luke?
Yeah, I'm going to put the 49ers first until proven otherwise. And then I'm going to put the Cowboys, same kind of thing. Like I said, they bulldoze teams that they should beat. They'll have a few stupid losses, but they tend to always have a good record. Third, I would go with the Lions. Yeah, third, I would go with the Lions. It's probably similar story to the Cowboys. And fourth, the Falcons. We'll see about them. And as far as the wild cards go, I have to throw in the Rams. I have to throw in the Packers. And one more.
Philly, maybe?
Oh, yeah, and I have to throw in Philly.
I'm not deciding for you. I'm just
No,
saying.
they didn't come to mind, but you're right.
Was there another team you were going to suggest?
I was thinking about the Bears, but definitely not when it's them or Philly.
So what's your order of those 3?
Maybe LA, Philly, and then Green Bay. And I think Green Bay goes into Dallas and beats them again.
That would be fun. That would be really fun. All right, Dante, finish us off.
All right, at the 1 seed, once again, I agree with Luke. It's the Niners until they prove me wrong or prove otherwise. In 2, I have the Green Bay Packers. I think once again, I think they're going to be very solid. I said everything about Jordan Love. I'm not going to reiterate about everything I said about these teams. You guys heard what I said. In 3, I have the Cowboys. In 4th place, or as the 4th seed, I have the Atlanta Falcons. And for my wildcard teams at 5, I have the Detroit Lions. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they're going to be right there as the 5 seed. As the 6th seed, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. And in 7th, give me the Chicago Bears, baby.
All right.
I thought about it.
So
Yeah.
we've all got we all have different division orders. We all have different wild card scenarios. So let me just
hold up. Sorry. In my playoff scenario, let me just say, I didn't even notice this. 2 versus 7 would be Bears Packers in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So
That's not
No, that's entertaining. That's good.
to get on that point, Dante, you've got San Fran as the first round bye. You've got Green Bay versus Chicago. You've got Dallas versus Philly,
Oh my God.
and you've got Detroit versus Atlanta. Luke, you have San Fran as the bye. You have Dallas versus Green Bay again. You have Detroit versus Philly, and you have the Falcons and the Rams.
Mm.
I have Philly as the bye. I have San Fran against the Rams, division rivalry in the playoffs. I have Detroit and Dallas, and then I have Atlanta, Green Bay.
Nice.
So,
All right.
I think that settles it.
Yeah, no overlap. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, some
Yeah.
like no, like, seed for seed, which is pretty cool.
Good. Yeah.
Very
All
cool.
right, boys.
I think that
So
does it.
I guess this is going to be our start of weekly uploads because next week we've got week 1 kicking off next
Oh.
Thursday.
Wow. This
Almost
is
here.
the football.
It is
I cannot
almost
wait to see
Made it.
Wilson beat Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Adam, I know you're rooting for that, but
Oh yeah.
let's ride.
I'm rooting for the Steelers week
Yeah.
1 for sure.
As am I. It took me a bit to think about it, but that was good.
We've got our first game of the year will be reigning MVP Lamar Jackson and the Ravens going into Kansas City on ring night to take on the Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Yeah, great game to start the season.
Very good game.
I agree. Go Chiefs. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Is it in Arrowhead? I know you just said this.
No, I think it's it is an Arrowhead? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then go Ravens for me, but
I'm obligated,
Yeah, fair enough. I hope both teams have fun.
I hope both teams.
I kind of hope neither does, actually.
Yeah. I hope it's a 0-0 tie, to be honest with you.
In the first game of the year?
If it was any other,
that's how we want to start the season.
yeah, it's gonna be a weird year.
Hey, it may just be. You really never know. I mean, we've got all these predictions right here, but for all we know, the Packers are gonna go like 5-12, and Detroit's gonna win like 14 games and be the best team in the league.
But the Bears are gonna go 16-1.
Could happen.
It will not.
Panthers are going 17-0. I wish.
Let's go. I'm here for it.
Me too. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week for our first week predictions episode of the season. Week 1 predictions coming next week.
Let's go.
It's almost here, folks. Football is, I guess it's back, but it's almost officially back.
It doesn't feel like it's back completely. Once Thursday hits, cool.
It feels like it's coming soon because I've got a fantasy draft tonight, I've got a dynasty draft Wednesday, and then I've got a few more next week. So
let's go.
It's that time of the year.
Yep.
Yes, sirski.
All right. We are your hosts, Adam,
Dante,
And Luke.
We'll catch y'all next week. See you then.
Peace.